Well, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, Genesis Family Chiropractic in Noblesville. Hey, we're excited to bring you another episode of Doc About Town. And today, we're going to be talking to Kristen Beckley from Purely in Order. And Kristen and I met through Facebook, actually, and she is going to tell us all about her business, which has been in place since, you said what? Since 2020? Mm-hmm. So, okay, tell us about Purely in Order. What do you do with Purely in Order?
I help regular people with regular homes declutter and put their homes back in order.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you find is interesting about that for you? How did you kind of fall into that?
I've always kind of been organized. When I became a single mom, I kind of just fell into it, and took me several rounds to get where I wanted to be.
Sure.
But I realized that when I was coming home to a decluttered home or an organized home, things moved better, evenings moved better, and I was able to be more present with my son.
So it sounds like it was kind of an ongoing process for you, for yourself personally.
Yes.
Yeah, so you changed some things, and that's not quite right. Let's tweak that a little bit. Okay. Yeah. So how do you apply the lessons you learned there into what you're doing with your clients then?
We go in, and everybody works differently. Sometimes it takes 5 or 6 rounds to really get everything we don't need out, to realize we don't need things. I'm just patient. We make a system, and what may work for you may not work for me, but I do what I can and revisit. If it doesn't work, we come up with something else.
Okay, cool. Tell me about, I know we said you started this in 2020. Mm-hmm. It was kind of the height of the pandemic, right?
Yes.
How did that all come about? Because we'd love to hear origin stories on this show.
I was working at a medical spa when COVID hit, and my son was home. I got furloughed, and I realized that I was missing so much time with him. So by that September, I kind of just went out on my own and decided that it was time to not do the 9 to 5 anymore. And
that's really cool. So you just realize, hey, I'm missing out on stuff here. I need to not be missing out on this. He's going to be growing up here pretty quick, and I don't want to miss all of that. I have to look back and go, hey, where did it go?
Yeah.
So when you made that decision, how did you go about starting that business in terms of what did you do to find your first client, let's say?
My first client, I had a cleaning business.
Okay.
So that was
in
kind
addition
of
to what you were doing
side
at the spa?
hustle. Yeah, because he played travel sports at the time, so that paid for that.
Because those are really cheap to be participating in, right?
Sure.
Yeah, there's no money involved.
If you're in Hamilton County, you know.
Yeah, we know.
You know. I don't know. I kind of just transitioned it. I think I got on Thumbtack, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe actually, one of my first clients was actually Jordan's best friend's grandma.
Okay.
And I helped her downsize her home, and they've since sold their home and moved. Yeah.
Okay.
So
that's cool.
Yeah.
So you kind of kicked off with someone that really needed your help and was changing a stage of their life, basically, moving from one stage of life into a different stage, and realized, gosh, we got some stuff we need to get rid of or repurpose, I guess. Don't we? So tell me about Kristen. What's your background? I know you said you worked in a med spa, but tell us about what makes Kristen Kristen here.
I grew up in a small town up north, about an hour and a half north of here. I worked in the healthcare field for about 15 years. I worked in hospice for about a decade.
Oh gosh, that's tough.
In that season of my life, I loved helping people transition.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm noticing a theme here, transitions for you.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's so you kind of take on a role both in that role when you were working in healthcare, but also in your purely in order now as a guide. You're able to walk people through that.
Absolutely.
That's really cool.
I've never noticed that before.
Yeah, that's really kind of a neat thing to kind of watch that thread develop, isn't it? That's cool. Yeah. So tell me about what do you do now as far as how do you find more people to help?
I'm putting myself out there on Google and on Facebook and Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
And word of mouth.
Yeah. Referrals are awesome, aren't they?
Yes.
Yeah, that's great. We
For
love
sure.
working with referrals.
Yeah.
That's cool. So let's say some of our viewers may be sitting here going, well, how would I know if I need to hire somebody like Kristen? How would they know from their perspective, gosh, this is an opportunity other than maybe downsizing a home, which is kind of an obvious one.
Yeah.
What else?
If you just come home and there's just too much to do and you have piles here and piles there, or your closet is just overwhelming and you can't seem to be at ease.
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah.
That's a good thing.
Maybe.
That actually kind of plays into what we do too, in terms of what we coach our clientele through and our patients through, is being able to see not only are we dealing with what their body is doing, but what's their environment doing to them, and how are they not managing that environment very well. So it sounds like you and I could be partnered up on this potentially, and we can point people your direction to say, hey, look, if you got a lot of stuff going on in your home, you need to talk to Kristen.
For sure.
So
clutter raises cortisol in women.
Absolutely.
It does.
Not just women.
No. Yeah.
I think it has more of an effect on women, but it doesn't affect men as much.
Men
But
don't notice it as much.
Right. Well, because our cortisol level is already so high anyway.
Yeah.
That small change doesn't make that much of a difference for us. Well, that's cool. So tell me about, and I always love asking this question, what was the most challenging situation? You don't have to share any names or anything, but what was the most challenging situation you had to deal with? Any hoarders in the mix there or anything like that?
There have been. When people, sometimes it's hard for us to let go of things.
Sure.
Because we hold memories into things. It's not as challenging now, but sometimes people want me to make magic out of, they want me to organize their clutter when there's too much, and it's
okay.
Sometimes you just have to get rid of things.
You just have to make space before you can organize. That makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah.
What about, there was another question I just had that came to me right then when you were talking about that. What strategies do you employ when you have somebody like that just, they feel so connected to their things, but it's because of the memories that are there?
I like to ask questions. I can't think of questions right now.
That's okay.
Maybe for closets, right? Do you love it? Do you wear it? When was the last time you wore it? Does it make you feel good? Do you feel good in it? I don't know. And sometimes you just have to, you don't have to get rid of it. And it's not always about getting rid of everything.
Sure.
It's just about having enough stuff to where it works for you. Like, it works for the space you have.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's
Does
cool.
that make sense?
It does.
Okay.
It does. Actually, so it's kind of interesting you say that. We're trying to help my dad work through that process in kind of divesting himself of some things. He lives in Florida.
Yeah.
My mom passed away not that long ago, and my dad has since remarried, but his wife was a widow as well. His new wife was a widow, and they're trying to combine two homes. Well, two full homes. You can't really do that. And so we're trying to help him divest himself of things, but there's a lot of things that he has that hold memories for me and my sister and our families as well. And so we have to kind of go through that with him. So I'm always interested to hear what a professional strategy is that does this for a living.
And in that case, with older people, do my kids want this? I have helped a couple of moms that have older children in their 30s and 40s, and they're kind of trying to go through and get rid of things so their kids don't have to do it. And a good thing is, do my kids want this? And just hand it over to them. And if they don't want to, we're millennials, we'll get rid of it. We kind of don't care.
Okay.
So giving it away, and maybe getting a memory box or a certain size of storage. And if it means so much, whatever means, hold please.
That's all right. You're fine. You're doing great.
You can keep as much as that fits into that.
Okay.
Right? Like, ask yourself, is it really that important to keep?
Sure.
Like, for example, I have a bin for my son and all of his baby stuff growing up. And I just went through that. And I got rid of the last thing that my sister, who passed away in 2010, the last thing that she bought for him. I took a picture of it, and I'm like, you know what? We can get rid of this because he's not going to use it. And sometimes it takes over a decade.
Sure. It just takes
okay.
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have to wrap our heads around being able to let go of something. But I love what you
Absolutely.
just said is take a picture of it.
Yeah.
Because especially with our phones, we can take pictures on our phones. Now
Yeah.
we've got it. We can go back and revisit
Yeah.
the photograph of it, even if we can't hold it in our hands.
And there's so many things, like for shirts. My son played baseball. For his 8th grade graduation, I just made him a blanket. There
That's
are so
awesome.
many little unique ways that you can keep things in memory
Sure.
and not just have it in a bin or
Sure.
taking up space.
That's really cool. That's really
Yeah.
cool. Any DIY tips for our audience that may be thinking about doing something like this and kind of say, hey, some of this stuff you can do on your own. Some of it you need to bring you in or somebody like you to come
Yeah.
in and help with that and kind of coach through that, guide through that, like we said before.
Yeah.
Anything they can be doing on their own.
Small spaces at a time. One
That's
drawer at a
beautiful,
time.
yeah.
One drawer at a time. One bin at a time. And it doesn't always have to be Pinterest perfect.
Sure.
If all you have is a shoebox to put things in, or you have an ugly old bin, start with that.
Yeah. That's great.
I don't know if I have any do-it-yourselfs at the moment.
Oh, no, that's great. And yeah, you actually just said there were 2 things you said in that. One, the small spaces, because I think sometimes we can look at it and go, I've got so much to do. It's so overwhelming, and
Yeah.
we just get paralyzed by how overwhelming it is.
It is.
The other thing, and you said Pinterest perfect, and we live in a social media world, it seems like.
We do.
And sometimes everybody wants it to be just, like you said, Pinterest, but it's a great term.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And
cool.
It's not always, but it works as long as it's functioning
Sure.
and you can go and you know right where it is.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome. That is cool. I'm trying to think. Anything we haven't talked about maybe that you thought we might? Anything you thought I might ask you? I know you said you didn't know really what to expect today, and so that's what I want. I want to kind of catch you off guard, not trying to aha you or gotcha, no gotchas, but I want to get a raw reaction. Anything you want to say that we didn't maybe touch on?
I'm not sure. I don't think so.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Any questions that you thought I might ask? You were worried that I might ask that I didn't?
No.
Okay, that's good. All right. So if somebody needs to get in touch with you, somebody, let's say, is watching this at some later date, because we'll archive all of these and they'll be all available for people to watch at a later time. They want to get in touch with you. What's the best way for them to do that?
You can message me on Facebook or Instagram.
Okay.
You can text me.
Okay.
Because I don't like to answer.
Sure, I understand. Yeah, I typically, if you're not in my contacts in my phone and you call me, you're probably going to have to leave me a voicemail.
Yeah.
I don't answer generally.
Yeah,
So,
text
but if you
me.
leave me a voicemail, I'll call you back, and then I add you to my contacts. So I know who you are.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I get it. We get too many spam calls to be answering every phone call I get. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So text you.
Yeah.
Where would you like to put that number in the description, or do you want to give the
can do
number
that.
now?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll put it in the description. That's great.
Yeah.
So if you need to get in touch with Kristen with Purely in Order, and maybe you're going through a life transition, maybe you're just realizing, hey, my kids don't want my stuff, and I need to divest of some of this. I don't want them to have to deal with it after I'm unfortunately not here anymore. Or you just have clutter and you just are stressed and you want to try to get your house in order, so to speak, and just be able to take that deep breath that Kristen just did. Get in touch with Kristen. She can help you with that process. How do you charge? You charge by the hour? Do you charge by the job?
I do, with a 3-hour minimum. I am doing, for this, for the next couple of weeks, or if you see this, the new U24.
Okay.
Yeah, and we can put that in the description, right?
Okay, yep.
Just say
absolutely.
that, and there's a 15% discount for
Fantastic.
the first 2 sessions.
Okay, terrific. That's awesome. Well, Kristen, it's been a pleasure.
Yes.
You did great. I know you were
Thank you.
nervous, but you did fantastic. So, hey, thanks for watching today. Like I said, if you need to get in touch with Kristen, please feel free to reach out to her. Her number will be in the description. Text her or reach out to her through Messenger on Facebook or on Instagram, and you can help get things cleared up and organized in your home and kind of take that big, deep sigh of relief. So have a great day, and we'll look forward to seeing you the next time. And I dropped my remote, so I'll have to edit the end off.
Okay.
So I will edit a little bit. There we go.
Thank you.
Let's make sure we recorded.